Morning, people. I hope you're all doing well. Big up to every single one of you that is live in the chat. Big up to Lee Judges. Big up to Roms. Big up to Henry. We got Martin and Flawless and Dan are going to join us in a bit. Hopefully. Wow. I don't even know where to start, if I'm honest. Me and Lee were up most of last night talking about it, and some of this morning my phone's been going mad. There's still sections of the fan base that are defending Mikel Arteta and saying they believe he's the right guy. If I'm honest with you, it's just hope. There's no belief anymore. Before I come to Lee, I wanted to get your guys' kind of thoughts, and I want you to not just give your thoughts on yesterday's game, but the position that Arsenal find themselves in under Mikel Arteta now. And when you give your answers, I know you're both good lads, but try and give it not from a Liverpool or Spurs perspective. Try and imagine you're me and Lee right now. What would you want? We're all different as fans. We'll have different expectations. We'll have different opinions, different passions of the game. But I know doing content with you two for so many years that you're in a similar position with your clubs about demanding what needs to be done. And I just want to get your kind of opinion. So I'll start with you, Henry. What are you telling me, bro?
Yeah, obviously yesterday I didn't see that coming, especially when they went down to 10. Dallo, stupid tackle. And then Odegaard, you need your captain to galvanise the team, drag you for a result, kind of like what Bruno Fernandes did on the other side. Misses a penalty. It's a great save. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I would be calling for his head. You got to look at it. You're 750 million already into this process. You've been knocked out of the FA Cup by 10 men Manchester United on penalties. The players that he's brought to this football club right now have gone backwards since last season. Leandro Trossard, Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard doesn't look as good as last year. And I know some people are saying, oh, yeah, we've got injuries. You got Bukayo Saka out. That is it. Calafiori's not a permanent first-team player. Okay, Ben White, but that doesn't affect your attack, really. I'll give you an example, right? Newcastle turned up without their best player, Bruno Guimaraes, still won the game. And Newcastle had two match winners in Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak. And Arsenal don't have match winners right now. People are saying, it could all change if they bring Victor Gyökeres in and Nico Williams. It could. But are Arsenal prepared to spend £170 million this window when we're already 13 days through it? Probably not. I don't think they're going to sack him right now. I think if he is going to go, it's going to be in the summer. And then the narrative will be in the summer. It always seems to be next season. Oh, we'll just wait next year. And look, and you two Arsenal fans called it pretty much as you see it. And I just don't. I thought at the beginning of the season, I backed Arsenal to win the league. I watched that Leverkusen pre-season game where they battered them 4-0. Everything was flourishing and looking good. And I thought, do you know what? They're going to do it. Arsenal are going to win the league. That Manchester City game, fighting back with 10 men, going all the way to the end. But there's just no bite. They're toothless up front. Gabriel Jesus got injured yesterday. If they do not go in and buy one or two attackers this window, now you guys are going to think, nah, you're chatting absolute bullshit. I'll be honest. I don't know if Arsenal will get top four because there's no attacking threat. Their home record this season, scraping wins against Shakhtar and Ipswich, drawing against Everton, losing against Newcastle, losing on penalties against Man United, drawing against Brighton, away recently, drawing against Fulham and Brighton. You can talk about as great as Saka as a player is, but there should be more up front. I'm looking around at Kai Havertz, 3 sitters yesterday. How he's missed 3 of those, I have no idea. Then Declan Rice, he has that header 3 yards, 4 yards out, either side of the goalkeeper. He has that chance on the left-hand side. Take nothing away from their goalkeeper. I thought he had an absolute blinder. I thought Harry Maguire and De Ligt were really, really good. And I thought every Man United player to a man did their job. But that's unacceptable. To play against 10 men for 60-odd minutes and the penalties. And what is David Raya doing, by the way? It's like he was on 100 ping. It's like he was diving once the ball's left the player's foot, going in the other direction. And then I look at Liverpool, right? And I look at, the fact that Arne Slot has, only really had Federico Chiesa. And he performed against Accrington and they brought through Georgie Mamadashvili, who will be there next year. But that's where Arsenal should be. They're in their 5th or 6th year. Arne Slot sprinkled a bit of fairy dust on a team that's already got a winning mentality of the Van Dijks and the Salahs and the Trents and McAllisters. But Arsenal have regressed massively this season. And now, I'll be honest, I don't think they'll win silverware. I'm still not going to write off Real Madrid in the Champions League. I'm still going to write off City or Bayern or Liverpool. And I look at the Premier League, I don't think they're as strong as Liverpool by now. If Liverpool win that game in hand, you know, I at this moment in time, I would still back Man City to finish above Arsenal. If they get through Omar Mamouche and they get through, they've got through that young defender, if they get another one in. And if we're now saying that the worst Manchester City side in terms of a period of form under Guardiola can somehow finish above Arsenal, serious questions got to be asked. How many more millions do you give him? Do you give him another 200-300 million and say, look, we spent £1 billion with this guy? Yeah, okay, he won an FA Cup, but it wasn't with his squad. Not a single player from that FA Cup winning side is at Arsenal anymore. I think other than Saka. Havertz has come in. Granit Xhaka's come in. It was like for like. It's not a like for like change for Declan Rice. I saw your fan cam down. Has Aubameyang been replaced? You know, the serious questions have got to be asked now. You can talk about, you know, the summer window. There's a lot of links out there. Nico Williams is likely to come in the summer. He has got to act now. The Cronkies have got to go out today, tomorrow, and bring in a forward. I don't see why they can't go and get Victor Gyökeres. 80 million euros. They've got to bring someone in, because right now I'd back City to finish above Arsenal. I'd back Liverpool to finish above Arsenal. I'm not going to rule out Forest or Newcastle right now, but all of those teams have got match winners in. Looking around at Arsenal, who's going to step up now? Saka's injured, because it ain't going to be Odegaard. He just ain't a captain. I'm sorry. But I don't know if that's me being too negative on Arsenal. I don't know if I said anything wrong, but yeah.
I don't think he's being negative at all. I think you're spot on. Before I bring Roms in, before I bring Roms in, Suj, big up to you, bro. Can we all agree the performance was shite? But the targeted hate towards Havertz's wife is beyond disgraceful. Such behaviour cannot be tolerated. I totally agree with that. How the hell you can actually take the frustrations out on Kai Havertz's pregnant wife? Some of these fans, it just never cease to amaze how bizarre and ridiculously vile and stupid they are, man. So big up to you, Suj. I appreciate that, man.
You know what, Potts, though? It's not just your fans. Every fan base has it. You get one or two idiots and they'll try and paint it out to be the whole fan base. But back to your original question, when you were like, look from an objective standpoint, like, how do you not see Arsenal? For me, I think Arteta should have went in the summer. And I know, actually, I'll start with the positives, right? Got you challenging again. Won a trophy in his first 6 months. And I always said that's harder to do without your squad. Then one of my friends said, hold on, it should be easier to do it with a squad in his own design. And I thought, I never looked at it from that perspective. But he won a trophy, got you challenging again, brought Champions League back to Arsenal, cool. There's positives within the 5 years. But for me, the first season you challenged, I'm not going to be that harsh, because no one expected. Some people didn't even have you top 4 that season. So that season, you just did something unprecedented. Everyone's firing all cylinders. You had Xhaka getting, I think, double digits, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli. With that type of squad, you wouldn't have thought you needed a striker. But then when you need to go out and actually get one, and you're spending money on Havertz when there was better strikers at the time, you're even Ivan Toney's whatnot, it's kind of like, this is on Arteta now. And for me, last season, you had the team to win the league. You finished on 89 points. In majority of seasons, that is enough to win the league, right? Barred recent years with ourselves and Man City. For me, that's when it should have been a chopping block, because he had the team to do it. I think he was out of his depth. To give him more money to spend, and then you have that window you just had with Calafiori, you're getting more defensive reinforcements when you need more reinforcements going forward. A Raheem Sterling, which, let's be honest, his best days were at City. And I know that's mad to say, because he's still kind of in his prime years, but we saw his last couple of years at City. And Marino, which, let's be honest, no one really watched. You had fans lapping it up that probably hadn't even watched the 90 minutes of him. I just think, for me, I think he could have got better in the summer. And people say, oh, what other managers are out there? What other managers are out there? One, we're not scouts. It's not really our job to identify. And two, there are better. I know there's Inzaghi in there that can be paid out of a contract. Arsenal Club have money. And you need to remember, you still are a big club. You could buy certain managers out of contracts. But I just think now he's out of his depth. I think your season's done. Call it premature. But I was just saying backstage to you, Potts, your history in Europe, I don't really need to say any more with that. And I think the league, we're just better. And like Henry even said, and I said to you backstage, it could even be a worry now, top 4. I do think you get top 4, but now I think it's even closer. I think you're closer to a top 4 race now, even to a title race, because I look at the Spurs game midweek, right? And no disrespect, Henry, I don't rate Spurs at all. We'll get on to you a bit later because 0-0 against that team, it's just crazy. But I'm now looking at that game thinking, yeah, Arsenal got a very good defense, but is there a guarantee you're going to win? Because, yeah, you can prevent the ball. With me saying that, Spurs are highest in the metrics for goals scored, to be fair. So there's some irony in that. But Arsenal, it's not your defense. It's going forward, because when United went down to 10 men, I said to my mate, I still think United go through. And when Bayern is pulling off saves like that, there's in football, so when things keep happening in the game, sometimes you just feel it's not that club's day. And when he was just putting out these saves and Havertz missing sitters, I was like, I think your season's going to be done. He's like, no, got 10 men, we'll throw the kitchen sink. I said, who's going to score for you? Struggled to give me a name. And I think that's the worry for Arsenal. I don't even think one attacker is enough. I think you have to probably go out and buy 2 or 3, but we know what your owners are like. That's unrealistic. You'll be lucky to even buy 1. And I think it's very worrying times for you lot. Very worrying. And this is why squad building is so important, because when you have injuries, you should have replacements that can come in and maybe, obviously there'll be a dip with golf. There'll be a little golf in class, but it shouldn't be a mad drop off. And I think it's worrying for you lot now. Honestly, I think it's worrying.
It is worrying, bro. It is massively worrying. Before I bring judges in, Martin, big up to you, man. Good to see you back again, man. I know you've had some busy times, but great to see you. Look, we'll get on to City, trust me. But when it comes to Mikel Arteta, it's someone that you do know a little bit about. I asked the lads before you jumped on to try and look at things in a way that if you was an Arsenal fan right now, what would you want to see happen, and where would you be pointing the fingers in terms of blame, bruv? So I'll ask you the same.
I think Arsenal are in the devil and they're in between the devil and deep blue sea at the moment. Because you've had all this phase, and he's had the money and he's built the squad and he's put you so close. I understand the fear of sacking him and then having to go back to square one in some fans' eyes. I do understand that. I do get that. To me, with Arteta, for me, and I'm only giving it from being in a title race with you for the last 2 years, the way you played in that title race is like night and day right now. I'm not sure if, and trust me, if I spoke with Rams about this, he will know what I mean by this. It is being in this 2-headed race for 2 years, took it out of Arteta. Because to go again for a 3rd year, I understand the fans' point of view was, well, we've come close 1 year, we've come close the 2nd year, we're going to do it in the 3rd year. Doesn't always work that way. Sometimes mentally, it can drain you as well to a point where you go, I can't go again. Can't go again. But everyone was just straight away that, bang, we were just going to go and do it on the 3rd go. I've always said it. I've said I think you needed a striker. I don't see nearly 2 weeks since the window you trying to do a deal like Gyökeres, because that isn't a kind of deal you just do like that. Those sort of top strikers are not done within 2 days, because the selling club needs to get a replacement in and everything else. So I'll be straight with you. If I was an Arsenal fan, yes, I would probably want him out now. After 5 years, wherever it is, I think he's trying to be too much like Pep Guardiola. I'm going to be honest with you with this.
Yeah, nowhere near that, Martin.
No, but you know, his style of playing, the way he talks, he's literally trying to be like Pep, and he needs to be him. He needs to go back to the way he was playing 18 months ago. Stop doing this. Stop trying to be I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. Stop trying to be a B-Tech Pep Guardiola. Stop trying to do it. You don't need to do 13,000 passes in the midfield. Arsenal work better when they play with tempo, speed, and aggression. And I ain't seen any of that anymore. Any of that. And that's why I said when you came to the Etihad for 2 years, every Arsenal fan took it as a knock when City fans were going, parking the bus because we knew it was going to continue. We knew you were going to keep playing in that sort of fashion. I saw it in the opening game against Villa. That Arteta had changed his style around. So yeah, top of it, yeah, but who you get, I do not know. That's the $1 million question: who you get.
Yeah, well, listen, that is a question that we'll have to worry about if there is any movement on Arsenal sacking Mikel Arteta. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. I will say that. It's a lot of the fans yesterday, Lee Judges, that were really, really peeved, and I can understand why. And I totally understand why people are now starting to question Mikel Arteta and maybe the fact that this process might not end the way that we all want it to, which it still could in May if we win the Champions League or the Premier League. But the way we're playing at the moment, it looks like we're a million miles off. Sometimes when the dust settles, I like to talk to you again, Lee. I know you and I talk all the time, but I was standing behind Turkish yesterday as he did his fan cam, and I went on after him, and I just thought, you're bang on, bro, in everything you've just said. And people were saying he was outrageous, he was over the top, and all. Nah, he was bang on for me. Everything he said was absolutely spot on with what's wrong at this football club, in my opinion. So I just want to ask you how you're feeling now, Judges, after a bit of sleep, I'll say, and how you're feeling this morning, bro.
Yeah, a little bit of sleep. Listen, I think you've got to get into perspective and sit down and think about a few things. And I'm listening to what you're all saying there, like, and first of all, just about negativity and positive, like, you know, Turkish was very negative, and I get what you said yesterday. There was people doing fan cams yesterday that were very, very positive, and they're being slagged off as well, like, you know what I mean? So it don't matter what you do and what way you go about it, it just is there. I will say this, you know, when you say, oh, the manager should have been sacked last season, I don't think people realise how good Man City were last season. For Manchester City to win the league last season went from December to May, dropping 2 points. Dropped 2 points against Arsenal at home. That's what they dropped. Other than that, they won every other game. Now, I don't think you can sack the manager on the back of that. And I think, like, you know, you just have to hold your hands up and say, at the end of the day, that's unbelievable stuff. And I'm going to agree with Martin, what he's saying there. Maybe that has took its toll on us, you know, to win. And it's even coming to this season where a draw is not good enough, boys. Not because of Man City this season, because of Liverpool. Liverpool have gone on a run now where you've got to. So all of a sudden now, it's not just 1 year, it's 2 years. Oh, you can't afford to drop any sort of points. Pressure comes with that. You know, we lost to Man United on penalties yesterday. It would have been dropped. If it was a league game, it would have been 2 points. It would have been devastating. I come away from Brighton a week ago, like freezing me nuts off, like, you know, disappointed that we've drawn a game. It ain't a bad result at Brighton if you look at it from the wider issues, you know. So I get everything there. Yesterday was a big kick for me because I see things which worry me. Newcastle, we've gone out against Newcastle. Newcastle were the better team on the day because they had a striker and we didn't. That's a fact. You know what I mean? I think that at the end of the day, we was probably the better side. We had the better chances, but they took their chances. Gabriel makes one mistake yesterday. What happens? Bang, goal. Man United. As poor as Man United are, as poor as whatever, like one chance, one goal. We're having to have 5 or 6. And you can blame the manager as much as you like. And I'm on that road. You can blame him, go down that route as well. But you've also got to look other places as well. Arsenal in the summer, after what they'd done last summer, haven't spent no money. People go, oh, 700 million in debt. You know what I mean? I get that. We bought 3 players, I think, last season. Three players. We bought 4 players, sorry. No, we bought 2 and we signed 2 on loan. Right? Out the door went 3 players. Ramsdale, Smith Rowe and Eddie. Getting more money in than what we spent.
And we load Nelson and Vieira as well.
Live Nelson and Vieira. So realistically, you have to look at it and go, where's the ambition? And you know, I have to say, like, you know, that is the question now, is when fans turn around and say, Arsenal ain't going to spend the money. You know, Rom just said there, Arsenal ain't going to spend the money on 2 strikers. Well, they're going to have to. Whether it be in the this window or the next window. Not only they've got to buy 2 strikers, they've got to buy a midfield player as well, because 2 of our midfield players are going out the door. So it's not just the manager. The manager at this moment in time, whether you think he's good enough or not, like, you know what I mean, he's baking a cake without no flour. Right? It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't got the tools. I look at Pep and people turn around and go about Man Utd, like, no one's saying that he should be sacked. Why? Because he's won things, right? Yeah. He's also won things with a top-class striker, a top-class midfield player, a top-class defender. When he had no fullbacks, he didn't win the league, did he? What happened? He went and got 2 fullbacks in at 50 million, spent £100 million on fullbacks, got the fullbacks in. Whether you like Pep or whether you agree with it or not, Pep has always had the tools to do the job. This season, he hasn't had the tools to do the job. What's happening in January? The board are going out there and spending the money, and that's what they're going to do. And when people like Henry go, "Oh, Man City are going to come above you," well, of course they are. Of course they are, because they're going to have the tools to go alongside.
You're not putting any of this on Arteta, though?
Yeah, of course I am. I'm going to get back. I'm going to get on the Arteta, like, you know what I mean, like, you know, in a minute. But at the end of it, you've got to have the tools. Now, you want to go on to Arteta, there's many a manager at this moment in time, and I'll tell you this now, Tottenham Hotspur, backing your manager. No, we don't want to sack Ange. You're in 12th place. But everybody wants to sack Arteta when he's in 2nd place. You know? And yeah, it is about winning trophies and things like that. And I get that. And that's where I think the meltdown for me has come. I actually see yesterday tactics and a way of playing that the reality checks it. I'll have a look at it. Manchester United at this moment in time are on they're 13th in the league. They've lost 9 games, drawn 5. Right. They come down to us yesterday with 11 men, and we never had a shot against them. Now, we might have done a little bit of had the play, and we might have had more possession and everything like that. But 57 passes between Gabriel and Saliba doesn't tell the story of how much play you have. You know what I mean? Oh, 1,334 passes we had, like, you know. Well, 1,200 then between Saliba, Gabriel and our fullbacks. That's not good enough. Manchester United did nothing yesterday. I look at the game and I don't want to criticise Man United when I say this. Newcastle, game plan, they had danger all over the field. Manchester United weren't in that game at 0-0, apart from like doing what they were doing. And then they defended for their lives, which you think they have to do. But did they really put that much pressure on? The goalkeeper made 3 brilliant saves, one from a penalty, by the way, which wasn't a penalty. Arsenal did not do enough to win that game of football yesterday. And what Martin said, and I totally agree with, where is our fast-flowing football gone? Where is that gone? Where have we blown a team away in the first 10 minutes like we used to? What is it now? We bore a team to death? You know?
Lee, I'll quickly just chip in with a point before I forget it, right? I think the biggest indictment to how bad Arsenal are going forward, and I said this to my friend at the time, Declan Rice was your best attacker. Your 6 was your best attacker, and he played half the game.
Yes,
for me, that's when I thought, this is real worrying. He came on and had about 2-3 chances. You lot actually started to get chances once he came, bar Havertz, obviously, once he came on. And it's like, how's your number 6 that's only been on for the last half hour, I think it was, being your best attacker. I was like, this is where it's really worrying.
Because
Sorry,
no, Ron, I'll tell you why. Because he's levels above everybody else in our midfield. Levels above everybody else in the midfield, and he gets criticised for it. Like, you know, listen, Declan Rice yesterday had a couple of good chances. The save, by the way, I've seen the save again. It's a fantastic save. I think it's a goal and it's a great save. So you have to give credit for that. He should have scored with the header, but he's also done that with 10 men. But you know, that's down on Arteta. He's bought Marino, right? Who, when you look at it, I don't know what he does. I don't know what he's in the team for, and that's on Arteta. Calafiori is on Arteta, like, you know what I mean. Another game, another time that he's been out of the team. I look at Timber. You know, everybody's going mad about Timber. He's been awful the last couple of games. Why has he been awful? Because he's come back from an ACL last year and he's been run into the ground, flogged to death. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, you know, if Arsenal was a donkey sanctuary, we'd be like putting funds into it, like, because, you know, like, you know what I mean, don't beat the donkey too much, like, you know what I mean? You know, you get these things when the donkey's being like, that is what we're doing with our players at the minute. We're over, like, Declan Rice has been overplayed and overworked for so long now, like, you know, and that's on the manager. The manager at look, listen, and this is where I go on Arteta. You can blame the board as much as you like, right? He has got a big contract now. When he was signing that contract, did he ever talk about, was it all about money for him? Was it, well, I'm getting the 12 million? Because he was in a place of power in the summer. And he's in a place of power now, if you be honest about it, with what he's doing, with the contract and everything like that. Demand what you go out and got what you want. Now, at the end of the day, Pep, right? Let's just talk about that just slightly. In his first season, like when he come fourth or whatever it was, and he said, I want 2 fullbacks, right? If he hadn't got them, what do you think he would have done? I don't know what he'd have done, but I tell you what, the board were too scared to think, oh, he might leave. We better give him what he wants. And I'm not saying it's all about money, because it's not. But when you look at Arsenal, I don't care. We can all say, we can all agree or disagree about whether you think Arteta's good enough, whether he should be sacked or whatever. Like, I get that, right? But I tell you what, every player, every Arsenal fan can agree on. You go into the pubs, you go on the train yesterday, right? What do Arsenal need? Need a striker. We need a goal scorer. The whole fan base is saying that. The fan base of Liverpool, Tottenham, Manchester City, no, thank God they haven't gone and got that striker. Thank God they haven't gone and got the attacking options. Like, you know, but we'll say it. We'll say it. The whole damning thing about it is, and I don't care, like, you've got people that are trying to back Arteta, and I can get that. In the same breath, you go, what do you need? We need 2 attacking players. And they've not gone and got them. That is on the board, that is on the club, and that is on the manager. The fact of the matter is that we are not going to win the league this season. We're not going to win the Champions League, because at the end of the day, we are blunt up front. Now, you can look at Man United yesterday. You can look at, I even think, God dare I say it, Tottenham, right? At the end of the day. I think Spurs, Manchester United, not so much them, but definitely Liverpool, definitely Manchester City, can have a bad game and still come away winning 2 or 3-0, right? And no one will say anything. No one will say anything. Arsenal cannot play bad and win a game of football. They can't, because they haven't got the goal scorer that covers up the sins. You know what I mean? Like, Haaland's not done the business for a few games, and it's shown. But then I reckon Man City probably had a few games like that without us even knowing. But they won it 2 or 3-0. No one really knows. You think, what, Man City, have they won that game today? Because they got the striker. I've watched Liverpool against Southampton. Poor. But who gets them out of trouble? their goal scorer.
That's what I wanted to say, Lee. I don't think Arsenal have got anywhere near enough moments players.
No,
Saka's
that's
the
what they
only
haven't
one that
got.
we've
And
got.
I'll tell you what, Tottenham have got moments players, like at the end of the day. You know, they have. Liverpool have definitely got it, Dan.
Henry, you can smile, you know.
Newcastle got it. You know, Arsenal were a better team than Newcastle on Tuesday, but Newcastle going to Wembley because they had the striker then. There's a difference. If Arsenal played like that, we lose that game 2-0, 3-0. You know, we played up at Newcastle, right, and played poorly. What's happened the last 2 years?
Well, Adi said it yesterday, didn't he? He said defence wins your titles and strikers win your games. We ain't going to win the titles. We've got the defence, but it's because we ain't got the strikers to win us the games. And I do believe that. I truly believe that the situation we're in right now is on Mikel Arteta and it is also on the board. And a lot of people are saying that, you know, you can't have one with the other. I think it is so connected. It is unbelievable because the ownership want this manager. The ownership have employed the board members. The board members have walked out and haven't been replaced. Vinay wasn't replaced. It was just Garlic stuck in that role. You've got obviously Edu that's still not been replaced. They're talking about Jason Ato. There was loose rumours that they've been impressed with what he's done and he might get the job. What the hell's he done? Ain't brought anyone in yet on the 14th of January. It's absolutely mad. But look, man, I've had enough of my say. Flawless, you know, that must have been one of the easiest games for you, man, yesterday, to play against us with 10 men. You took it to penalties. I've got to big up Harry Maguire. I thought he was actually really good. I've got to be real. And I think he has been in the back three for Amorim. I think it kind of suits him, which is a mad thing to say for someone who believed he just needed to go and it wasn't there. I will say this about Maguire, though. He's kind of always had the right mentality and attitude, to be fair to him. I just don't think he's got the quality. And I don't think he was ever one of the problem people. You know, when you looked at Bruno's and you looked at Rashford's and you looked at Anthony's and these guys, I never put Maguire in that bracket in terms of what he's got up here. It's always been his kind of quality, but I thought he was good yesterday. But that is a dire game. You know, I remember sitting around yesterday, I was watching the game and I'm going, do you remember Wenger and Fergie? Do you remember
I heard you
Wenger
say
and
that in the
Fergie?
fact, yeah, I heard you mention
Look
that.
at the state of this, man. It's just, it's an insult to them. Them two must be sitting there with a glass of wine thinking, crikey, what's happened to these two clubs? They are a right mess. They're absolute shambolic, the pair of them, man. So talk to me, Flawless. Talk to me.
Yeah, you mentioned it there in regards to the game was far from easy, especially.
Oh, sorry, Flawless. Rob's big up, man. I know you got to shoot. Big up, bro.
Have a good week,
every single time. Blessings, Rums. Big up, man. Shouts to Rums every time. Now it's far from easy. After that red card, it's like, here we go again. Because before that, comfortable from a defensive standpoint, that was the game plan. But when I seen the front three, I knew he was going to rotate anyway because Amorim's done this before. And he's already set out his stall in regards to the importance of domestic cuts. That's the gaffer. That's what he goes with. And when I seen a front three of Bruno, Garnacho, Højlund, we was never doing anything. We was never doing anything going forward. The plan was defensively be tight and try and nick something on the break. So whether that's an individual piece of magic, whether that's a refereeing mistake, or whether that's a mistake from an Arsenal player. And the latter came with Gabriel, and we managed to score the goal. Delot almost sold us. He's the only player I have any complaints about because it's a stupid yellow card because I thought he was going to get there. So I'm like, all right, make the tackle, but he's a split second late. It is definitely a second yellow card. And now we are in a tough situation. And up until that point, Arsenal hadn't created anything. And then once we went down to 10 men, you started creating a lot more. But credit to the rest of the team. You know why? Because they dug in. What got us through that game was sheer resilience, endeavor, effort. And we deserved it. Yes, Arsenal bad finishing, Kai Havertz, but we know Kai Havertz is a bad finisher. Kai Havertz has never, ever been a top quality player. Should he have scored? Yes. But there's a reason Chelsea fans call him BCM, big chances missed. He's never been a good. That's why I didn't understand the praise for him, even though he was in good form. He's a squad player at best, and I've said this for the longest. For where Arsenal are trying to go, Kai Havertz ain't it. And now fans are just realizing this. But yeah, we dug in. Like I said, you mentioned there, Harry Maguire did have a good game, minus the penalty, which was daft because it wasn't a penalty. No way it was. And make sure you lot run up the likes as well. It wasn't a penalty, but don't stick your arm out because the referee was horrible the entire game. Don't give the referee an excuse. There was another one he nodded down. There was a crossing from the left-hand side. He nodded it down to Havertz and Havertz missed, but he has been better in a back three. did play well in that game. I thought De Ligt was exceptional as well, considering he was poor against Liverpool, but he's been good all season and he was exceptional in that game. In particular, there was the block. I can't remember who crossed it in. It might have been Havertz for Trossard. And I thought this is a goal. And somehow he's managed to get his body across and clear the ball by in there. Even though I thought he should have done better for the goal, for your goal. I don't know why he's not caught that. He's made up for it with the 2 penalty saves and the save as well from Declan Rice, even though Declan Rice should have done better with the header. But yeah, the game plan worked. You know what I'm saying? That was Amarim's game plan. It was in regards to, like I said, be defensively tight, which we was. So I still didn't have a shot on target in the first half at all. I think we only had one as well, and that was the game plan. Then once Dalot got sent off, it was get it to penalties. If we could nick something on the break, cool. We did kind of look more dangerous. He brought on Xerxes, who was very good. Criticism he's received has been way over the top, just considering he even had a chance. You know what I'm saying? The way people criticize Xerxes even played 3-4 games in a row yet, and people are already trying to write him off. You can already see technically he's sound and he was good in his cameo. Diallo's always going to be a threat coming off the bench just because he's a quality player and his confidence is sky high as well. So we did kind of look a threat on the break. There was the save that Raya made that took a deflection, I think, off Party at the near post. But then, yeah, when it went to penalties, it's like, I was confident because I said before the game, 1-1 and penalties. I thought that's the only way we getting through. And again, if Dalot doesn't get sent off, I think we win the game anyway. Yes, Arsenal have their issues, but it's improvements from us because we've come through 2 tough games. We were supposed to get battered by you lot, and we were supposed to get battered at Liverpool as well. That was the general consensus, was not only were Manchester United going to lose those 2 games, we were going to lose those 2 games heavily. And we've come out with a draw at Anfield. Thought we should have won, but it's still a good result, good performance, and gone through to the FA Cup 4th round as well. And considering he rotated, so I have to give Amarim credit because myself and many others didn't want to see Bayern there. Didn't want this, but guess what? It worked. And you mentioned the likes of Maguire played well, De Ligt as well. Martinez, who struggled the past few games, he's played well also. Agate's been Agate and just getting through his work in the midfield as well. Our attack is weak though. So it wasn't a surprise that we didn't cause much threat. Even when we have our better players in the attack, our attack isn't the best. This is why we need to bring in reinforcements this window. We need to bring in. But yeah, overall, over the moon to get through. Yeah, winning at the Emirates ain't easy. It's not something we've done in a long time. So yeah, over the moon.
I can imagine you are, man, because look, I don't think either team were outstanding by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think that we deserve to win that game. And I want to close on the Arsenal section with this. I think the manager is a disgrace in his press conferences now. I'm getting sick and tired of listening to him, if I'm honest with you. You know, we lost to Newcastle and it was the ball. Now, people have said, oh, it was context and it was actually not what we asked him and, oh, they've twisted it and turned it. You don't say that as your reply, yeah? And this is what I don't get with the fans that say, oh, but it was the journalist who... No, it wasn't. This guy opened his mouth and said that. He could have said, it's a different ball, yeah, we've already scored 11 goals of it. That wasn't the issue tonight. But, of course, he tries to be clever. Oh, yes, it's very different. It flies differently. And then yesterday, he said, what we've done and achieved together as a team in the last 3 days has been nothing short of incredible. What? We've just gone out of the 2 competitions that we had a chance of.
He said
incredible performance in the last 3 days. That's what he said.
He also said we didn't deserve to lose that game. How did we lose?
We didn't deserve to lose. What is this guy on about?
That is where he's banging it, like, you know what I mean? Don't insult us. Don't insult us as a fan base when you say that. We was beaten. Listen, we always said that Man United, like, we're always going to do well against us and do well against Liverpool because they can set up like that and play. When they go to home games and play teams where they've got to open up, they struggle a little bit because they haven't got the firepower themselves. But the way it's set up yesterday was, you know, like for Man United. And that's on Arteta to break it down, and he couldn't. Don't turn around and say, oh, we deserved to win yesterday and we had this amount of play and everything like that. At the end of the day, these teams are good enough to allow you to have enough play to still win a game of football. That is part of their makeup. Man United are going to say, well, yeah, break us down. And, you know, for him to come up and say, oh, we've done more than enough to win the game, that's where he's embarrassing. And I also agree about the balls. He never said it like that, but just bat it down, like, you know what I mean? As you're playing cricket against a fast bowler, you just block him out. Just block him out, you know what I mean? Like, don't, you know what I mean? Like, give other clubs ammunition to fire at you. And he did that thing. As you quite rightly said, all you have to say is, well, it didn't affect Jesus last game, did it? That's all you have to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's losing the plot, man. Like take it from someone who's had a manager who, when he is going wrong and he just starts saying absolute nonsense in press conferences, that's when you know. And Arteta's fast. When you blaming the football, talking about, oh, I don't know if Arsenal can win anything, I couldn't be prouder of the players, etc., etc. He knows he's hit the brick wall. He knows it's over. He knows this.
Do you guys think
he's saying wild stuff? Go on, Henry.
Do you think you'll beat us, Dan?
We're going to go on to that when Dan's going in a minute. But we're going to answer the question, Dan.
I've got to jump off. I've got to jump off, but
yes or no, and then you can go because we're going to talk about that.
I think it's got. I'll tell you what. I'll give my quick opinion. Then I think it's got the stinkiest draw written all over it, and I think it will go down as one of the worst North London derbies in history. That's what I think it will be. So we'll see what happens, man. But look, I love you and leave you, people. I'll let you four crack on with it.
Dan, blessings,
love,
man.
Blessings,
Dan.
Love. In a bit, mate.
From here, listen, we're going to just go into that segment, just finally to finish it, and we'll talk about. I'm saying this now, right?
Go on, judges.
If Tottenham, right, and Postecoglou come to Arsenal, and it's just who we are, mate, and attack us and play the way that they've been playing and get beat, he should be sacked the next day because there's a blueprint. There's a way to beat Arsenal. He has the tools to do it on the counter-attack. If he does not do it and Spurs do not beat Arsenal on Wednesday, it is down to him because it's there in black and white how to beat Arsenal. And Man United have done it. All right, they didn't win on the 90 minutes, but there was a blueprint. Everton have come there and done it, haven't got the players to do it. Newcastle come there and had the players to do it. And if Tottenham and Manchester City come in at the end of the beginning of the month, Martin, if they do not do the same, they've got possibility to get beat. Defend against Arsenal and you win the game. Over to you, Henry. Let's talk about quickly against. Listen, I'm going to be really honest about Tamworth. I don't know why Tottenham have got any criticism. Why are you getting criticised for this? Are you through to the next round? That's what it's about.
Yeah, we are through, but my argument was half of those players that they had one professional player on the pitch, and every single player was a part-time footballer who only trained once a week. And we turned up there with, Timo Werner, £160,000 a week, misses an absolute sitter. And it took an own goal in 101 minutes to score against 16th in the league, non-league side Tamworth. Credit to Tamworth because they made it hard for us. It's a small pitch. It's a small ground. They worked their bollocks off. But I'm looking around at players like Werner, like Johnson. I know Johnson scored, and like Maddison. We need a bit more. Don't get me wrong. We're through to the next round, and we showed a bit of class in the second half of extra time and scored a couple of goals. But we have got to do better. Tamworth had a chance. I don't know if you saw it in the 93rd minute. It fell centre half. If that's one of their midfielders and that's in the back of the net, we're knocked out. And if we're knocked out to Tamworth, no one will be talking about the Arsenal defeat last night. We'd be getting absolutely ripped to shreds. What I will say about the North London derby is you're a team that hasn't got any confidence, and we're going to have our towels up for that. Now, I don't rate this manager that highly, and I would prefer if we brought someone in who's actually got more of a tactical approach and can change it up. But I would actually back Tottenham to get a result out of that game because I think you're on your knees right now. Let's be honest. I don't think you'll go into St James's Park and win. So I'm prepared to say on record, I think you've been knocked out of both cups in a matter of days. Now playing us, it's kind of like the perfect side for you lot to get a bit of confidence back in the Premier League. It's your arch rivals, but it could also go the other way. If we get a result against you, the daggers will be out for Arteta. If we come there and give it who we are and win 2-0 or 3-1, because we do score a lot of goals, if we come there and do that, or we have a bit more of a pragmatic approach and just counter you with the pace we've got and the form that Solanke and Kulu are in, it wouldn't surprise me if they did that. If we come away with a win, I'd be absolutely amazed if Arteta out is not trending. If we give it who we are and win at the Emirates, a ground which we've won once or twice since the Premier League's been around? Serious questions have got to be asked anyway.
100% serious questions, because this is the worst Tottenham team for a very, very long while. And if he was to lose to that, it would be an unbelievable thing. All right, we won't go too much into the Tamworth game, because obviously, like, you're through and all that, like, and that's what it's about. Martin, we'll bring you into this one as well. Man City had a little bit of the old cup luck again, like Leighton Orient or Derby. Tottenham not so lucky with the draw. Henry,
We've had horrendous luck
one of the
this
best
season.
ones.
We've got Liverpool, Man City, and Man United in the League Cup, right? And now we've just got Villa in the FA Cup. And if we do get Bars Villa, we'll end up getting Liverpool City.
That's a tough one for you guys. Villa away.
Yeah, I'm not confident.
Leighton Orient or Derby for Man City, Martin. The cups, you do get a little bit of. I'm not saying luck in them, because there was a game, Salford, like,
you coming out with the warm balls conspiracy, that.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but like you can rest a few players at this moment in time when you've got a busy month coming up. It is important. I think these draws are important.
We've no choice to rest. They're all injured.
Yeah.
That's why we've got to go and make 5 signings in January. It's not to make the squad bigger. It's to make sure we've got some fit players. That's the problem we've got at the minute. No, it's hey, listen, it was great to see the kids at the weekend. I say kids, McAtee's 22. Talking about him like he's a kid. He's 22. People talk about him like he's 17. He's 22 years old. He's been playing in the Premier League for 2 years. So, yeah, no, it was nice to see him. A little bit sweeter to beat BTEC United again. You got to put Gary Neville in his place. Made a bit sweet with Ryan Giggs stood on the touchline as well. Because look at Flawless there. He knows what I mean. I've never seen so many United fans become Salford fans in that South Stand at the weekend.
Hey, man, enemy of my enemy is my friend. Here we go. That's what it is.
Salford have never smelt 7,000 fans. I don't know where the El Sunliol appeared from. It was hilarious. No, it was a great day, great occasion for them. Big up to them. They sang, even at 7-0 down, they were letting flares off. They just started enjoying it, which was good to see.
Yeah.
But no, it was good to see some of the youngsters. O'Reilly looks a really, really good player. 17, 18, we'll see what happens with him. The problem is, it's hard to judge these youngsters now when you're about to whack 200 million down in the January window. It's a bit hard to judge anyone and whether we're going to do anything with them. But no, I'm looking forward to it later on in Derby.
Yeah, who would you prefer? Who would you like? If you
I want Derby. I do want Derby.
Oh, you want Derby?
I'll take either. To be honest. I'm not. But that's what the magic of the FA Cup is, in it. You see Arsenal United all the time. You want to see Tottenham, Tamworth, Newcastle, and Bromley. You want to see those ties. That's what the magic of the cup's about.
And Flores, just coming on to you quickly. The magic of the cup comes for you now, because obviously, like, Leicester probably ain't a bit, but with Ruud van Nistelrooy, you got to thank Martin Cowan. We've done enough favours for you, but we give you the first home draw as well. You take that when you're Leicester at home. You take that.
Yeah, of course. We just drew Arsenal away. All the teams we could have drew, and we drew Arsenal away. They should have given us a lower league opposition at home. Never mind I was livid. I looked at the draw and I see City get Salford and Newcastle get Bromley and Spurs got Tamworth and Chelsea got Morecambe and Liverpool got Accrington Stanley, and we drew Arsenal away. I was like, this wasn't in the script. So, yeah, it could have been a better draw because you're drawing a Premier League side, but Leicester will rotate. They battle in relegation. So, yeah, pleased with the draw. Can't complain. Would have preferred a lower league opposition, but, yeah, Leicester at home. Cool. I do fancy our chances in that, 100%.
Martin, speaking on City, you're on the verge of getting Mamouche from Frankfurt, who's a top player, and you've brought through that young centre half from Lens. Do you think you're signing someone else on top of that as well?
Yeah, we're already in negotiations with 2 others. Two other defenders. Walker's going out. We're going to try and buy another midfielder as well. We're at the moment, the news is we are far, far from done.
So I'm not saying you're going to win a league title, right? But do you think with these players coming in, you are capable of doing a City-esque run? Of 10, 15 Premier League wins on the bounce? Because I think you are. I think.
So you will say yeah to get clipped, and I don't want to say yeah because I'm not there.
Well, you believe it,
Not
though, Martin,
there,
though.
but
You believe you can.
You know what it
believe
is?
though.
You know what it is
What?
for me? I think the league is very poor this season.
Good.
To win 2 games out of 15 and to be 6 points off second is craziness. 2 wins in 15 is relegation form. We should be in the bottom 3. We're 6 points off second. What has happened? Has everyone took an holiday this year? Because I was talking, we were trying on my channel, and I said, if City had carried on the way they started the season, we'd be top of the league by about 15 points at this stage. We didn't lose.
That's why Liverpool are there, Martin, isn't it? Really, that's why,
Yeah,
because they're the only team that's
we
put in a
didn't-
real
we didn't lose a
consistent run, if
game.
I'll be honest.
We didn't lose a game till November, and then we just free fall. But this is the crazy thing: we've had a bad 6 weeks. This is when I've tried to calm everyone down, and everyone's gone into crisis and meltdown mode, and sat Pep and sat the board and everything else that was going on. Sell this player, sell Haaland. I'm like, hang on, what are we all? It's been a bad 6 weeks. Partly down to form, partly down, a lot down to injuries. It's football. Injuries happen. We weren't going to win the league 5, 6, 7 years on the bounce because it ain't FIFA. It ain't Champ Manager. But no, I don't think we will win the league. Could we? I do think we can come second, though.
Do you think you can win
I-
Champions League?
I agree. But before we wrap up, boys, we got the Premier League's back this week, like, you know, and there is a good game, a couple of games on Tuesday. Brentford versus Man City. Do we all think that City will come through that one? I think that they will. Mind you, Brentford had a poor result, didn't they?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
need.
the move I go.
If
Yeah.
City beat Brentford, then I'll say we've turned the corner. Right now, I'm still not at the we've turned the corner bit.
Fair
If we
enough.
can beat Brentford
They're
and
very
beat
good at home as well,
Ipswich, then I
aren't they?
think we're out of it. Yeah, but
The big game on Tuesday, of course, is Forest versus Liverpool. What are we saying there? Are we saying that Liverpool will win this game, or do we think that Forest have a chance?
I'd back a draw.
But
I think Forest-
I'll say a draw as well. Like,
I
you
think
know what I
Forest
mean?
are so strong defensively and they're so well organised. Liverpool have got a really good away record, but I think if Liverpool are going to win, it's going to be like last season. So it'll be a 1-0. It'll be 1-0 and just get out of there with a job done. But, you know, fortunately for them, they did get to rest all their big boys because they played Accrington. So they will be fully fit and firing. But on the balance of it, I'd back a draw. And I think Forest would bite your hand off right now for a draw.
Because that's 2 teams banging form still. That's what it is. And Brentford have, like, they're home, even though they had the poor result. The poor result on the weekend. Obviously, they rested players. Their home form is incredible. It is very, very, very good. Obviously, Arsenal beat them there not too long ago. But edge towards, I think Liverpool will. I think I edge towards Liverpool like a 2-1, but it's going to be a close game. All them games on that Tuesday are going to be good. All the games on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm looking for. Honestly,
you look at them, good games.
Looking
Very
forward
good
to
games.
those games, like, you know.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to those games. Like, on Wednesday, obviously the big game. We'll talk about that. But I think that the most interesting game now is Everton versus Villa, with David Moyes going back to Everton. That'd be
I find that crazy. I find that such a step backwards. What is this? What is this? 1995, 2000? What we doing here?
It's 2005.
Like, my God, you're about to go into a new stadium with the manager that nearly relegated. I find it crazy.
Yeah,
I find it utter madness.
It'd be interesting to see how that works out, Martin. Like, you know, I mean, what actually how that does pan out, like, you know. So
it's got sentimental written all over it.
Do you think?
It's just sentiment.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
I don't mind David Moyes. I think he got a lot of stick from the West Ham fans. He won him a trophy. He got him in 2 European semi-finals in the Europa League. I think they should have kept him. That Lopetegui guy was even worse. I hope he does well at Everton.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing against Everton. Of course, Arsenal Spurs is the big one on Wednesday night, 8:00 kickoff. obviously Henry and me, we're not neutral for this, so we're Flawless and Martin. We're asking what's your predictions for this? What
Go on, Martin. You can go.
What's the prediction for again? So, which game we're doing now?
North London derby.
Arsenal Spurs.
Oh, the North London one. I'm going to go 1-1. 1-1 or Arsenal sneak it. I'm sorry, but I don't see Tottenham doing... Sorry, Henry, I don't see Tottenham winning there at all. Because I do think, by the way, Arsenal... This could also have the opposite effect on Arsenal, where it gives them the kick up the arse they need to get going, and you get that, the wounded animal sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think, if I've been really honest, if you've just been dumped out of 2 cups in a week, Tottenham coming along, the fans are going to be up for it for what.
If you don't like cup competitions, you always got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
Right.
No need for that. No need for that.
It's a low blow, that mind.
Flores, what you saying?
Yeah, I think this going to be a better game than people expect. Because of what's going on with Arsenal in the past couple of games, and Spurs. Spurs can definitely be entertaining from a neutral standpoint. I don't think Spurs win the game, but I think this has got 2-2 draw written all over it. Like more anarchy around Arsenal and Arteta. Because I think this is must win for Arsenal and Arteta. With all the criticism that he's getting, with going out the 2 cup competitions within the space of a week, Arsenal ain't gonna win the league, not gonna win the Champions League. Have a big win against Spurs gets everybody back on side, even if it's temporarily. If you lot go out there and beat them 3-0, 3-1 but I think Spurs have the tools to hurt you lot, and they score goals. They are very, very good going forward, despite their deficiencies defensively. And I just think the anarchy and the story around the Arteta continues. I think it's going to be a draw. And we're just going to see crazy.
When is the last time they scored 3 goals at home at the Emirates?
Yeah, right.
Was it Leicester or Southampton? I think it was Southampton. And that was Leicester when it 4-2.
Yeah. That's why I say 2 apiece. Because I don't think Ange goes there and defense, drops the line and hits on a counter attack. He goes gung-ho. What do I believe Spurs score going that way? Yes. But I also think Spurs concede. Also, yes.
Arsenal have got all the players they could use it for that out. So a lot of their players that are all the fast, quick counter attacks.
Yeah.
With Angie's high line, they're all injured.
They got Martinelli.
And you think, I said players who could do something. No, you throw Martinelli at me. What are you doing?
He's quick. He's quick.
Judges, before we go, can I share an honest question? This is all banter aside. So, Tottenham go 1 up on Wednesday. Could it get really toxic in that stadium?
Yeah, I think it. I think it was. Listen, there was no. It's a very strange thing. It wasn't toxic yesterday, but it was like a lot of fans coming off the fence, and there was a lot of not anger, but there was a lot of frustration in the stadium and all that. Whatever happens, the Arsenal fans will be right up for this game because it's Spurs, but I think they can be easily turned in this game. I think if Arsenal lose this game, then there will be very much that, Martin. I think there will be.
The only reason I ask it is because it's a bit of a full circle moment. We talked at the beginning, like Dan was saying about the way negative fans are. I've actually seen City fans fighting the Etihad this season.
Yeah, do you know what?
It's crazy this season. This season, everyone's lost their mind.
Dan said that he see a bit of that against Newcastle, which is not good. I don't want to go down that route where you don't want to go into the stadium. We had that when it was the Wenger years. It was awful till the end. It's not a nice place to go and watch for. I'm pretty sure Spurs have had it a little bit this season as well. When you're arguing about different things and all that, I don't like to see that. And as you say, with Man City as well, I think it comes down to a lot of frustration. I'm pretty sure Man United have had it as well this time when you're arguing and things like that.
You saw it at the Zerk. You saw it when Zerks. I just think at the minute everyone's kind of
I don't think everybody's happy, Martin.
Everyone's lost their mind. I don't know what's happened.
Yeah, it's a lot of teams are not happy. I think. Listen, I think at the end of the day, I don't care if you're Man City, Man United, Tottenham, or whatever. You pay your money, you can vent your frustration. You know what I mean? At whatever, like, you know what I mean? Because I think that's what is fair, and I think players accept that as well as the manager does, and everything like that. But fighting between yourselves and arguing and calling this and calling that, calling out players' wives and everything, that is going over the line. It's going over the line.
Well, you've obviously read everything with Kyle Walker this week. City fans have hounded him all the way to Italy.
Well, it seems a little bit like that, like, you know. And listen, with football, it's fickle, isn't it? Like, you know, he's done really, really well over the last sort of 5-6 years for Man City. He's had a dip in form and whatever, and that's, you know, fans' term. Fans want success, and if you know, especially teams like Manchester City at this moment in time, and we've had it in the past, where I think that you expect success all the time when you're winning. You know, it's a lot tougher, and also I think, like, with the likes of Spurs and all that, like, it's the frustration of not getting over the line for them is doing that. The same with us now. I think, you know, from my point of view, you know what I mean, 2 years ago, you know, I never thought we'd be anywhere near the title, and we was nearly got it, and the frustration that it's slipping away, it angers people, and you know, so it'll be really interesting. Look, this week it'll be really. For Arsenal to have a good week, I think they need Liverpool to slip up. If Liverpool slip up, it gives us a little bit more energy going into that North London derby. If Liverpool go and beat Forest, I think, like, you know, that worries me, because I think the fans might be a little bit deflated. I don't know, but it's going to be an interesting week. I think, like, you know, Liverpool got a couple of difficult away games coming up, haven't they? So
yes, they played Brentford. They played Forest and Brentford. They're the 2 games away. So that can do things, and I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it all shapes up, and we go from there. Like, you know, I think at the end of the day, I don't know. You're still holding out hope, judges, yeah? Is this what you're telling us? You're still holding out. Just say it, man. It's okay, man. This is your channel. This is a safe space.
2 weeks ago, I'll be really, really, really honest about it. 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't say that I'd put a lot of money on Arsenal beating Spurs. At this moment in time, I'm a little bit worried. Like, you know. There you go. I've said it, like, you know what I mean. I'm not looking forward, guys. I'm not looking forward to Wednesday. There, I've said it, like, you know what I mean. So,
if Liverpool beat Forest and then we beat you, there'd be 9 points clear with that game in hand as well.
Yeah, like, listen, Spurs can.
I don't think we will beat you. I think it will be a draw.
If Spurs draw or beat us on Wednesday, that's the end of the title. If Liverpool win. So
I don't know, judges. If you lose and we win the next two, and Forest and Liverpool draw,
City can probably chase them down. If any team can chase them again, if any team can chase down Liverpool, it is Man City, because they've done it before. They know they've got the ticket. They know what they're doing.
No, but not this year. We're having a year off. We're having a rebuild. We'll come back next year.
Bloody hell! Thanks for that, like, you know what I mean? So
the next year we'll be back.
Guys, we come to the end. Thanks for watching. First and foremost, like, there was over 1,600 in here at one stage, which is incredible numbers. So you know, that's what happens, like, when Arsenal lose, because such a big club, aren't we? Like, you know what I mean, when we lose. So there you go, like, you know. But listen, guys, thanks for coming on and giving us your time. Unbelievable. Give us a shout out. Give the thousands a little shout out about your channels and everything like before we go.
Yeah, just at Henry Talks Football. I've got a video dropping about Newcastle in the next hour or so, talking about how how good they've been. They've won 8 games on the bounce. Look through their fixtures, and I think they could do a 10 or 12 game win streak. And I think they're favourites to get. I'd actually back Newcastle to win the League Cup. I know Liverpool, the likelihood is they'll beat us, but I'd back them to win it. So yeah, just check out Emery Talks Football. That video will be out in about an hour or so.
Brilliant.
Big up. Yeah, Mancunian Way, Manchester City channel. So most people won't want to watch it there probably. But yeah, we're live tonight actually. I'm going to talk all about Mamouche, Hussanov, and maybe the other 2 or 3 signings that are walking in the door.
Give it a rest, Martin. We'll give it a rest.
You did your spending last summer, behave. Let someone else have a go.
Yeah, people at Sarcasm City TV on YouTube. So yeah, just go subscribe to the channel and all the shows that are coming up around there, people. But big up for having me, judges. I always love being on it.
And you're definitely not signing anyone. You're definitely signing no one.
Hey, we better sign somebody. We better sign someone.
You've
even if
been
it's
told.
long.
Because you cancelled your Christmas party because you Paul. Never mind signing.
So they say, man. They told us we was broke in the summer and we still broke our 150 M's. If they don't sign anyone, that's on them. That's on them.
Man United always sign people. They're a big club.
Yeah, huge club.
A huge club. Guys, thank you very much. We're out of here. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.